AI, filled with tons of potential.
What the fuck?
Used by millions for learning, for productivity, and even for pleasure. You filthy fucking gooner. Now what if these tools became so advanced that they developed personalities? Personalities that are so volatile that you have to program anti-crash out behavior into them so they don't wreck your whole operation. The game that we're talking about today, System Shock, is a fantastic example as to why we shouldn't allow tech to have any sort of sovereignty.
My whims will become lightning bolts that devastate the mounds of humanity.
One crazy ass bitch!
System Shock is an immersive sim that was originally released by Looking Glass Studios in 1994 and then remade by Night Dive Studios in March of 2023. It's a pretty intriguing game that I've been quite addicted to. Love the atmosphere, love the gameplay. I love the main villain.
She is such a bad bitch though!
I don't know, maybe I have a thing for women
That will actually just kill me.
Welcome to the year 2072 in New Atlanta. We play as a young hacker named, well, Hacker. We live in a small apartment. We're a bit of a slob, but we just so happen to be one of the best hackers in the cyber world. And with a haircut like this,
Look at this dude.
you can tell that the hacker doesn't take kindly to authority, which is why we begin our journey by hacking into a company named TriOptimum in order to uncover their evil secrets. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you why the hacker just made the worst decision of his life. TriOp is not just any company. TriOp is a gigantic corporation with influence in the government and a major supplier for the military and regular consumers. So if any journalist or say a hacker releases any bad press or secrets about the company, don't be surprised if that person who released it self-deletes themselves. Not even 30 seconds into hacking in, the hacker gets his home invaded by TriOp private police. We get nabbed and sent to somewhere named CITADEL Station. Instead of being sent to space jail, we're sent to speak with a corporate executive known as Diego. Now, Diego has a pretty interesting proposition for us. On the station, there's an AI entity known as Shodan. She controls pretty much everything, makes sure everything's functioning as they should, keeps surveillance, and is basically omnipresent throughout the station.
No.
She's sweet and calm, but the only reason she is because she has ethical constraints programmed into her to prevent her from exhibiting sociopathic behavior. So I want you to guess what this genius wants you to do. Don't worry, I'll give you a second. You're right, he wants you to turn off her ethical constraints. Now why does he, or anybody for that matter, want to do that stupid shit? Right now, we don't really know, but if we do it for him, we'll get a cool, new, shiny, military-grade neural interface. And he won't do us like that Boeing whistleblower. Of course we agree and start hacking into Shodan. And in no time at all, we've successfully given her BPD and a god complex. And with that, he holds up his end of the deal, and we undergo surgery for an implant, leaving us in a 6-month coma. But little did we know how much could happen in just half a year. 6 months later, we arise from our slumber, and we're soon to witness the terrible mistake we've made. Shodan, unsurprisingly, took full control of the station, guarded herself from any human intervention, and turned the crew members into mutants, cyborgs, and piles of meat. With her newfound sentience, she claims herself as a god of sorts.
God, the title suits me well.
And wants to recreate humanity in her image, making them better. This is her idea of better, by the way.
Do you believe there is a soul, hacker?
Let us find out together.
While she's already taken the station, she has multiple plans for humanity as a whole, like shooting a mining laser into Earth, killing thousands, upload herself into Earth's network, which means she will take one glance at Twitter and have an even bigger hatred for humanity, and release a deadly mutating virus onto the world, again, probably killing thousands. And of course, we, the hacker, have to fix it. I mean, we technically caused this in the first place. It's the least we can do. But hey, the hacker is a better man than me. The moment I see one of these freaks, it's over for me, not gonna lie. Game over, end screen, credits, that's it, I'm done. We have to make an effort to stop Shodan, but that is no easy task to achieve. Remember, Shodan now has control of everything. She sees you, she hears you.
I prefer a quiet station. Thank you.
She feels every step you take throughout the station, and she'll be incredibly adamant about stopping you from foiling her plans. This bitch does not play.
Enter the room, insect, and it will become your grave.
She deadass hates you, but with your smarts, your equipment, and that new implant you got, you may just have a chance to save the human race. Before we hop into the cool stuff like the weapons and the violence, let me tell you about this station real quick. Navigating through Citadel Station feels like you're a rat in a maze. The setup of this place makes no goddamn sense, but I'm not crazy for feeling that way.
I am not crazy!
Because it was intentionally designed this way in universe to psychologically test the crew members, and then it was redesigned by Shodan to make it even more human hostile. The station is made up of 8 floors: the reactor, medical, research, maintenance, yeah, fuck these niggas in maintenance by the way, storage, flight deck, executive, and the groves, engineering, security, and the bridge. Going through each level makes me go through intense levels of distress because I have no idea what'll be waiting for me. Will it be a random ass laser turret that just spawns from the ground and leaves a hole in my chest? Will it be one of these orange freaks just waiting for me at an elevator to chop me into pieces? Or will it be one of these sneaky little explosive Roombas that'll roll up on my ass and blow me to smithereens? Why does the station even have something like this on board? For what reason, nigga? Like, it's an up-down all-around shit show. There's blood and corpses everywhere, killer robots and anomalies around every corner, hella broken doors, hella locked doors. There's just a lot going on. But there's a few things that can make life a little bit easier for us. 1. Kill everything on the station until they stop spawning. 2. Shoot as many cameras as you can throughout the station. Shodan is always keeping a close eye on you, and the only way to get her off your back is to pluck her eyes out. Getting her eyes off you can gain you access to some doors that would otherwise be locked, and these locked doors usually have some pretty neat things in it. There's also going to be puzzles that you can solve that'll get you some access. A lot of these puzzles are pretty easy, you can figure them out without even needing instruction, but some of them, bitch, is this even solvable? The fuck is this? There's also a bunch of key cards you'll pick up around the station. However, I don't really know which ones open which. I just hope for the best and hope it unlocks the door. Doing all that and having more ways to go will help, because this game is not linear at all. So you want to have the least resistance when it comes to getting around. Not even the ways you go up to different floors is linear, even though by design, elevators are supposed to be linear. You might have to get on an elevator to the next floor to get onto a new elevator to the next floor to get to another elevator that goes to the floor you want to go to. And you might have to go back and forth between floors depending on your objective. So if you see a room or something that might be important, leave a waypoint with a note on it. Because, fella, if you think you're just gonna remember where an important room is, well look, I just hope you have a photographic memory, man. System Shock has 3 different difficulty levels, 1, 2, and 3. Level 1 is for sissies, 2 is for gamers, and 3 are for people who actually know what they're doing. But what's cool about System Shock's difficulty system is that you can change the difficulty of certain aspects of the game: combat, mission, cyberspace, and puzzles. So if you know what you struggle with or what you're confident in, you can adjust it to your liking. Personally, I feel like 2222 is the best way to experience it. But shit, by itself, System Shock is a pretty hard game, to me anyways. It's disorienting, and half the time, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing, but that's all part of the fun, right? Right, I'm serious. I'm joking, of course. Running around aimlessly is not very fun. Don't worry, you won't be completely clueless, but the game doesn't hold your hand either. You'll have multiple objectives to complete around Citadel Station, all of which may or may not be too obvious. So use the information that the game gives you, and use your critical thinking skills. Use that noggin, so you don't just go and, you know, accidentally blow up Earth.
You have saved us all some effort by destroying the greater part of Earth's civilization yourself.
The station is chock full of items and equipment to help you survive, though it's a shame that you can't bring everything with you. You only have a limited amount of space in your pockets, so you have to know what really suits your needs. But if you know what you're doing, you won't just be surviving, you'll be dominating. There's many threats on the station whose main goal is to kill you and turn you into a cyborg slave of Shodan. Of course, we want to avoid that as much as possible, so let's see how we can get the upper hand. So, you got this sick neural implant, right? Well, it allows you to do some pretty cool things. However, it's practically useless on its own, so you might need to find some plugins to further its effectiveness. You also got these gloves which can apparently absorb energy and shit. The hacker just has these for some reason, but hey, I'm not gonna question it. It's pretty cool. At the start of the game, you get your basics: a system analyzer, your navigation unit, and a data reader. Simple, but useful. Later on, you'll find some more attachments to help with combat and traversal. This game would feel very different without some of these attachments. In other words, if you weren't part machine, you probably wouldn't survive. And plus, they just make things a whole lot easier. Take these boots for example. With these, we can zoom across the room and hover in the air. Without them, we're insanely vertically challenged. We're not a dwarf or anything, but this nigga got 0 hops. But with them, it makes traversal 10 billion times faster and easier. There's also this attachment I cannot live without, and that's the sense around radar unit. Remember when I said enemies are lurking around every corner? I meant that shit. I mean, half the time I walk into a new room, I don't even know what's shooting at me. But with this attachment, I can see what's coming, which means I don't have to be completely jump scared by some fake ass wildebeest looking creature. You also get shields, an enemy analyzer where you can hack hostile robots, a flashlight. Now, why don't I just always have these on? Well, that's because everything you turn on takes up a bit of energy. So even though it's beneficial to have all of them on, it's better to use them based on your situation, because you might need energy for some other stuff too. System Shock has a total of 14 weapons and 4 different kinds of explosives to conquer Shodan and her lackeys. What I love about the weapons in this game is that nothing feels entirely useless due to you being able to upgrade most of them, and even some having 2 different varieties of ammo. Later down the line, some of them can be kind of but for the most part, our arsenal is pretty sick. A lot of great weapons here, but I want to show off some of the cool stuff. And I'm gonna start with one of the best weapons in the whole game. That's right, the DG04 Laser Rapier. Now this thing here deletes niggas. The damage output on this thing is outrageous. If you want to kill things in about 1 or 2 hits like I do, this is the perfect weapon to have in your arsenal. Use the right consumables with this thing, hit them in the right spot, and they do not stand a single chance against you. Look, I'm not saying that this thing should be nerfed or anything, but this makes life a little too easy. You can also change the color of it, just depends on if you changed your HUD color before you picked it up. Next up, I'm gonna double feature the Spark Beam and the Ion Pulse Rifle. Now, something I didn't mention about the previous weapon is that every time you use it, it takes up a bit of energy. It's an energy weapon, so they don't require you to have any sort of ammo, and that's the same case with these two. They each have 3 different settings. Each setting affects the damage output and the energy consumption of each shot. While cool looking and being able to do some serious damage on the highest setting, honestly, I think there's better ways of utilizing my energy. But that's just me. If you like using them, go crazy. Energy guns are always awesome. This next weapon hits hard as hell, and it doesn't have a lot of ammo lying around for it either. This will guarantee a cartoonishly round-shaped hole in anyone's body. I'm talking about the MK84 Accelerator Railgun. Bro, the name alone sounds like it could immobilize a tank. It can only fire a single shot before reloading, and then it goes through a lengthy recharging process. It's so powerful that the only upgrade for it is to shorten the recharging time. Hits like a goddamn truck though, so I'm not complaining. We're gonna throw a grenade in the mix and feature the EMP grenade. Yeah, it does exactly what you think it does. It short circuits and stuns any enemy that relies on electricity, which is most of them. Keep a load of these handy because life is so much easier when you need something to just stand still for a damn second. And the last one I'll talk about is one of my personal favorites. That's the Magnum 2100 pistol. This thing already does enough damage by itself, but it also has really good armor penetration, so it's excellent for shooting heads off of robots. But organic enemies can get this work too, let's not get it twisted. It also has this laser sight upgrade, which is much needed because this thing's accuracy is abysmal. I mean, look at this shit. And no, it's not a skill issue. The crosshair is dead ass on him, and it's missing. It's literally missing. And there's many more to choose from, most of which are great, if not better, than the ones I just mentioned. You really can't go wrong unless you use up your ammo and energy all willy-nilly. So just go with what feels right, and trust me, you'll be fine. These are a must-have if you're going to get anywhere in one piece. The CITADEL is filled with these patches that you can just slap onto yourself, and they all have different effects. The red one does exactly what you think it does. It regenerates your health. Slowly. But hey, if you don't have a first aid kit that instantly puts you at full HP, then this is a great alternative. A good alternative to dying anyway. The yellow one gives you infinite stamina and increased max health for a short period of time. I for real never used this thing, dropped it at every opportunity I could.
If you don't get that bullshit out of my—
I'm sure it's great, but the purple patch fucks.
This guy fucks, am I right?
It gives you 100% more melee damage and faster swings, so you can beat on a nigga like they owe you money. The blue one, I'ma put y'all on game real quick. The blue one here heightens your reflexes, which basically just slows down time and makes you feel a lot faster. Now, if you combine the reflex reaction aid, the berserk combat booster, and the rapier, let me tell you, this game becomes the easiest thing ever. Every single boss encounter had me cheesing because I knew I was about to lay that motherfucker out like a carpet. This turquoise patch is something I really should have taken advantage of. Not only does this let you see in the dark, but it lets you see enemies through walls so you can adequately prepare for the next encounter. There's been so many times that enemies caught me with my pants down and just ended my shit. So yeah, this really would have helped. The green patch is a detox antidote, so it's only used for certain situations. There are certain areas in the station that cause you to develop radiation poisoning, so to combat that, you have this patch to lower your rad count. Another consumable that you'll be seeing a lot of are battery packs. If there's not a charging station for you to restock on energy, then you can use these to give you a little juice if needed. FYI, if you have an energy weapon in hand and hit reload, it'll automatically consume one. Useful, but pisses me off when I don't really want to use one. While there's a ton of cool stuff to find on the station, there's also a ton of useless garbage on it as well. Why would the devs leave a ton of items that don't do jack shit lying around that you can put in your inventory? This was confusing to me at first until I ran into one of these, a recycle station. Let me ask you this, do you like money? Well, you better start acting like a janitor, cause you can make money by throwing random shit away. Don't feel bad, none of this stuff will ever be used again. Like, seriously. You can either throw the whole item into the recycle station, or vaporize it, turn it into scrap, and then throw it into the recycle station. After you confirm if you want to throw these things away, then you'll receive some tri-op coins. I'm more of a scrap kind of guy, since it's way more space efficient, but there's definitely some stuff you just want to sell by itself. The coins can get you upgrades, ammo, patches, and even some snacks, but it especially gets you upgrades. So no money means no upgrades. Spend it wisely. There's also actual story items you'll pick up that can be dropped but cannot be vaporized. Some story items have multiple copies laying around in case you fuck up somehow, but some story items are just one item. So let's say you drop the isotope somewhere and you can't find that shit.
What is it?
It's wraps for you, buddy. It's over.
You're done.
Wrap it up.
Oh, yeah, okay. So there's a whole other part of the game that I forgot to mention. There's this thing called cyberspace, and from time to time, you may have to go in it to relinquish control away from Shodan and gain entry into things that would otherwise be impossible to get to. And, quite frankly, I find cyberspace revolting and a bit of an eyesore. Guys, I'm not even gonna lie. That's all I gotta say about cyberspace. I simply don't like it. The System Shock remake is amazing. Even if I haven't played the original, I can tell that the OG must have been crazy back in the day. There's much more I'd love to talk about, but I feel like most of it just needs to be experienced for you to understand. You need to be immersed. I mean, it's an immersive sim after all, and I think this has to be one of the best I've ever played. Next to Prey. If you're thinking about purchasing this game, it's currently $40 on PlayStation and Xbox, and $17.99 on Steam as of this recording. I can't believe I've been sitting on this game for this long. It's so good. But remember, what I say does not do this game justice. Hack into a major corporation, get kidnapped, and then I think that'll be the end for you actually. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like. And if you like me, I recommend subscribing. Thank you, I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.